This is Mary Collins from Hakx Media and Radio X, and I am back online with Helen Rudinsky, our expat counselor in Switzerland. Hello, Helen, how are you?
Hi, Mary. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Unusual times as we work from home. However, we are still both out there hoping to help people by reaching them through our radio and online courses that sort of tell people how to help themselves. So today we are talking about relationships during lockdown, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So normally people have enough space that they can kind of get away from each other. Do you think that a lot of people are using COVID-19 to kind of blame their relationship issues on, or, what's the situation when it comes to lockdown? What does it really do to people?
Yeah, that's a good point. There's two things. All of us as humans need to be free. We're not rats in a cage. We need to be free. That's a human need. Mm-hmm. And if we're not, we start to kind of dismantle, so to speak. And that's why they put people in solitary confinement as punishments in jails. So all of us have a need to get back out there, to be doing our routine and so on. And hopefully that will be coming in the next while. Mm-hmm. So if you're frustrated with this lockdown, that is to be understood. We need to be out there as humans. We need to be interacting. This is not a natural situation for people. That being said, if you're having a lot of stress with your spouse, the problems are probably not COVID-19. They're probably relationship issues that have been below the surface, mm-hmm. and this extreme situation of lockdown has brought an existing condition to the surface. Right. Kind of like they're saying for the majority of people that are being diagnosed and then unfortunately dying from COVID, many of them had physical health issues, either obesity or they're very elderly and their bodies are not, are quite fragile. So mm-hmm. It's the same thing with relationships. Mm-hmm. If there's a lot of stress in the home, what I would suggest is couples sitting down and trying to work through these different problems. And I deal a lot with this in my couples therapy treatment plan. One of the big problems that we look at very early on, usually the first or second session, is there's several patterns that I'll talk about. One of them is escalation. That's a very harmful pattern. That is when one person is saying something and then the other person says something that makes it more intense. And then the other person says something and then another till it explodes. Right. And often at this time, we're out of control. We're saying things that are mean, that we can't take back, and it's an explosive environment. Mm-hmm. So what I work with couples, and a lot of couples have this escalating pattern, and it's very damaging, mm-hmm. that once you see yourself boiling up, to try to take a time out and say, honey, we're getting heated here. Let's talk about this after dinner or mm-hmm. tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. We need to talk about, you're not dismissing it, but you're taking a time out. Mm-hmm. And all of us are, as parents, know what timeouts are. Mm-hmm. The same thing, kids get overworked. Mm-hmm. So that's a pattern. If it's consistent in your marriage, you need to address it, and it won't go away after quarantine is finished. Right. So that is a very serious problem. If that's left in a relationship, it will, the relationship will probably lead to divorce.
Right.
Right. Another pattern that's very harmful that we can talk about is invalidation. Mm-hmm. And invalidating is doing something to dismiss, to ridicule, to insult, belittle, or poo-poo your partner. Mm-hmm. It can be as subtle as just rolling your eyes or sighing or saying, oh, here we go again. Mm-hmm. Or it can be something as direct as saying, that's such a stupid idea, mm-hmm. Really attacking the person. Mm-hmm. So we need to really be careful if we're invalidating our partner. A lot of us do it. It's a bad habit. But here again, in stressful situations, these kinds of behaviors are going to become more illuminated because mm-hmm. of the stressful environment.
Okay, so people should look at they should look at their behavior patterns as well.
Yeah.
Now, think, is it really that I'm stressed and I'm taking it out on my partner, and therefore I'm causing more mayhem, or they're causing because of their personalities that I put up with before because we could escape each other. This is exactly what you're saying, is you need to see what the patterns are, maybe actually have counseling with someone like yourself so that they can really understand what's happening step by step, and therefore stop it if they really want the relationship to do better.
Yeah. And so there's 4 patterns I look at. We're just going to look at these 2 today, the escalation and the invalidation. But usually couples that come will do this early test in the first session or 2, and they'll identify which patterns they have. Sometimes they have 1, maybe sometimes they have all 4. And the goal is within the next month, within the next 4 sessions, to get those under control. And usually almost 90 to 100% of the time, couples are able to get those under control. So the escalation, like I said, a timeout. Honey, let's come back when we're more focused, when we're not out of control, when we're not hungry, when the baby's not screaming. So take control of the situation. You can't escalate alone. It takes 2 people to escalate. You can't go running around the house screaming at yourself unless you're a schizophrenic or something. So now getting back to the invalidation thing, a lot of times people think that, so the opposite of invalidation is to validate. So to validate, a lot of people think, well, I have to agree with her or I have to agree with him. No, not necessarily. You can say something like, oh, I see this is really important to you. I see this, you've given this a lot of thought. I'm not I'm not agreeing, but that's respectful. So the way to prevent invalidation is to just give the respect to the person by not dismissing their idea, or belittling, ridiculing, walking away. Now, it doesn't mean you have to agree. That's where a lot of people get worried. Well, I'm not agreeing with that. Nobody's asked you to. Just be respectful. And it doesn't mean you back down. Let's say my partner comes in and with these paint swatches and they want to paint the living room purple. They're all excited. So I would validate by saying, wow, it's fun to see you so excited. That's the validation point. But you know, it's like a sandwich. You've got the bun, the meat, and the bun. So the next point I'd say, honey, I will not be able to live with this color. I'll be a maniac. I'll be screaming and yelling. It's not going to work for me. Okay. That's the putting my foot down. It's not happening. And then the validation again would be, but let's find something that you're excited about like this that I can have. See, so there's no dismissing the person or being disrespectful, but I'm not going to back down. I have made my decision. We're not having this color in our living room. So those are the 2 patterns that can come up during these stressful times. And I would encourage couples to really be honest and do some soul searching in their relationship and not blame it on the external. Because if this problem exists now, it existed before.
Right. And it sounds like wonderful advice, not only just for couples, but for even like dealing with children or dealing with other
Parents.
people. Yeah, parents, exactly.
Children, even coworkers. You know, I've had clients that have been with me in couples counseling for several months, and they come back and say, everybody at the office is saying, what's happened? You're so easy to work with. And we were just dealing with the skills he needed for his marriage, but they will transfer into our everyday life.
Excellent.
And these are 2 big ones that you don't want to carry to any part of your life.
Exactly. Well, for people that are listening or watching our videos, just be aware that you can go on to Expat Counseling Switzerland.com to speak to Helen Rudinsky online, or when things get back to normal, you know, directly through her counseling courses, because you actually have specific courses where you take people through stages and how to deal with these stages. So
the counseling is more like a workshop. Marriage and family therapy, which I was trained in, is really catering towards short-term getting in, fixing the problems, and getting out. So usually people come anywhere from 2 to 4 months. It's not a long-term, it's not like Freudian analytical, psychoanalytical therapy.
Great.
looking at
Yeah.
things for years.
Yes, exactly. And you just want to help people get through things. So people, you can also find more information about Helen on our website, www.lifehacks.com, and our Lifehacks Media Facebook and Twitter pages and Instagram as well. We will be looking forward to having more of Helen's wonderful blog posts and information setups for us, so that we can do this, whether we're doing it online from our closets and home offices, or whether we are doing this back on Radio X. We look forward to having more sessions soon. Thank you so much, Helen. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Take care, Mary.